Okay, hello students, how are you all? Hope you are all are doing really great. So today we are going to be learning a grade 8 portion which is coal and petroleum. Now before we get into the topic, let me first introduce to you Swiflearn. Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 3rd to the 10th grade. It is 100% live and interactive classes. We have a personalized individual attention with a batch of maximum of 6 students. There is a dedicated academic mentor team to track work of students' progress, and also it covers the syllabus as per your school exam schedule. And also we do handle custom requests as well, as in if you have any particular topic that you're finding difficult to learn, so we could have individual sessions as well. And some of our key features include detailed progress reports are given to the students. We have regular Swiflearn academic test series that happens at irregular intervals to check the student progress. Also, we take unlimited practice tests and subjective tests unless we are sure that the students would do well in their exams. So these are some of our key features. And also do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and also click the bell icon to never miss any update. So with this, we will start off with today's session. So as I said earlier, today we are going to be doing a grade 8 portion, which is coal and petroleum. Yeah, so we are going to do a part 2 session of this, as in we have already covered coal and petroleum in another live series. If you have missed that out, do check it in our videos. We do have the live saved in our channel. So we have already completed the part 1 of the chapter. In the part 1, we discussed about coal, the formation of coal, the different types of coal and users of coal. So today we are going to be specifically looking into petroleum. Okay, we are going to be learning about the formation of petroleum, the petrochemicals and their users. We are also going to learn about natural gases and its users, CNG, LPG, and what is an ideal fuel. We are also going to learn about global warming and certain key measures that we can take to save fuel. So these are the topics that we are going to be learning today. And also, before I go ahead, whenever you have any doubt in any of the portion that I am explaining, you can send your doubt in the comment section. Please be free to send any doubts regarding this portion that I'm taking today. Your doubts will definitely be answered. Okay, so do send your doubts in the comment section. I am checking the comment section and I'll be replying. Okay, so let's go ahead. So first, we know that we know that vehicles run with fuels. Yes or no? But do we know that what kind of fuels are used for vehicles? Well, we all travel in vehicles, right? We all travel, whether it is you go to the school with school buses, right? So what is the fuel that makes your for which you can go in school with the buses? So what is the fuel that vehicles use? Basically, petrol and diesel are the two fuels that are used in vehicles. Yeah, petrol and diesel are the fuels that are used in vehicles. And vehicles like car, bus, motorcycle uses petrol, and vehicles like heavy motor vehicles like truck and tractors run on diesel. Now, from where do you get these petrol and diesel? From where you obtain them? Well, fuels like petrol and diesel are obtained from natural resources. What do you mean by natural resource? Something that is already available in earth, right? Something that is not man-made by humans, right? We only extract it from the earth. And where do we get it? We get it from petroleum, which is present at the deep layers of the earth's surface. So we have petroleum present in the deep layers of the Earth's surface. So basically what we do is we drill through the Earth's crust, okay, and we obtain petroleum. Of course, we do refine them. Refine as in petroleum will be mixed with many other substances. So refine is basically, separating all these, unwanted substances and obtaining pure petrol. Yeah. Now, petroleum is a dark and oily liquid with an unpleasant smell. So these are the physical properties of petroleum. That is, it is dark in color. It is a very oily liquid and with a very unpleasant smell. Sometimes you even get headache if you smell petrol. Yeah. So it is a natural occurring fluid, like as I discussed earlier. It is already present in the Earth's surface. All we need to do is we need to extract it from the Earth's surface. Now, where is it present? It is present in the deep layers of the Earth's crust. Okay. Now, it is also mined between the rocks under the Earth. That basically we are extracting it from the Earth's crust. Deep layers, we have in the deep layers of Earth's crust, there are a lot of rocks. So we mine it from this. That is how we get petroleum. Clear? Now let us have an idea about how is petroleum formed. Well, petroleum is formed when organisms living in seas dies, like when aquatic animals, basically, like fishes, you have aquatic plants, when they die, where do they go? They fall on the seabed. Yes or no? The deep layers of the sea, they fall on that. Now, as time pass, these layers, okay, they get, or these bodies get covered by layers of sand and clay. As a result, they are compressed further deep into the Earth's crust. Now, deep inside the Earth crust, when they are compressed, they are subjected to very less air and high temperature and high pressure. As a result of this bodies, these dead aquatic plants and animals, the bodies of these dead aquatic plants and animals get converted to petroleum and natural gases. Is that clear? I'll repeat it once again because this is a quite important portion. It is repeatedly usually asked in CBSE examinations. So, formation of petroleum. Petroleum is formed when organisms living in seas, that is aquatic plants and animals, they die and they settle down at the bottom of the sea. Okay, now as time passes, these bodies get covered by layers of sand and clay. And after millions of years, it gets converted into petroleum and natural gases. How do they get converted? Because they are subjected to very high pressure and temperature and the absence of air. Okay, this is why they get converted to petroleum. Clear? Now, why the layer containing petroleum and gas is above water? Now, usually you can see that what petroleum or oil or these petroleum gases, they are always present at the top layer of water, that is above the water. Why so? Can you think and come up with answers? Well, it is basically because oil and gas are lighter than water. That means they have less density. Petroleum, oil, and gas have less density compared to water. That is why they are present at the top. And we already know that they are immiscible liquids. Yes or no? What do you mean by immiscible liquids? It means that they do not get mixed with water. Okay, something that gets mixed with water are called as miscible liquids. Okay, something that do not get mixed with water are called as immiscible liquids. So petroleum, oil, and gas, they are immiscible. That is, they do not get mixed with water. So they form a separate layer on top of water because they are light, they are less denser than water. Clear? Now, what humans do is we drill wells. Okay, we drill wells into this aquatic, into this seas, and we obtain petroleum from them. Okay, so a hole, basically a hole is drilled into the Earth's crust, And when it reaches the rock cap, it is this petroleum is usually found in rock caps. Okay, so when we drill and when we reach the rock caps, the natural gas comes out with great pressure. Okay, they are present inside the Earth's crust, and then when you drill a hole into it, they come out with very high pressure. Now, after a while, the pressure of gas subsides. That means the pressure reduces. Yes or no? After a while, the pressure reduces because it is coming out, right? At that time, petroleum starts flowing out of this, and the holes that you drill into the Earth's crust is about 12 centimeter to 1 meter in diameter. Okay, so the diameter of the holes or the wells that you make are about 12 centimeter to 1 meter. We drill these wells to the rock caps, and then as a result of pressure, the natural gases comes out in high pressure, and once the pressure subsides or reduces, petroleum starts flowing out and we extract it. This is basically how we extract petroleum from the Earth's crust. As you can see in the picture, here you have a drilling rig, and from here you drill wells into the Earth's crust to obtain the petroleum. Now, refining of petroleum. Petroleum is basically a mixture of various constituents. Okay, we do not get pure form. We always get it in a mixture of various constituents like gas is present, petrol, diesel is present, lubricating oil, paraffin gas, wax, which is all mixed together and they are present as a mixture. Okay, now paraffin wax is also known as crude oil. Like basically this mixture is also known as crude oil. Now we need to transform this crude oil. Crude oil is the oil that we are extracting, okay, which has all these mixtures in it. So we take this crude oil and now we have to separate or we have to transform it into useful products. Like from the crude oil, you can get liquefied petroleum gas. That is nothing but LPG that we use at home for cooking, right? LPG gas. So that you get gasoline, you get petroleum, kerosene, jet fuel, diesel oil. Yeah, so all this we obtain from the crude oil. So what is crude oil? The mixture. The petroleum is basically a mixture of various constituents, which is called as crude oil. Okay. Now we need to extract it and then we need to transform it into useful products. This process is called as refining. That is the process of separating various constituents of petroleum. Like the crude oil that you get, from there you separate all the various constituents, the lubricating oil, all this paraffin wax, all this you separate. This process of separating the various constituents is called as refining. Is that clear? Now, the useful substances that we obtain from petroleum and natural gases are called as petrochemicals. Okay? The substances I told you earlier, right? The crude oil has various constituents, various useful products that we can obtain. So each of these useful products together are called as petrochemicals. So what are the examples of petrochemicals? You have LPG, which is liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, you can obtain petrol, you can obtain kerosene, you can obtain diesel, you can obtain lubricating oil, you can obtain paraffin wax and bitumen. So these are the different useful products that you can obtain from petroleum. So petroleum is basically a mixture having all these products in it. We need to extract them and refine them. That is, we need to separate all these useful products from it. And the name for collectively these useful products are called as petrochemicals. Is it clear? Moving forward, now what is the uses of these petrochemicals? So some of the uses I have listed here. You can see LPG, that is nothing but liquid petroleum gas, liquefied petroleum gas, Where do we use it? You already know. We use it at home, right? Very commonly we use it as at home for cooking purpose. It is also used in certain industries as well. Now, another product or another petrochemical, which is petrol, is again, you people know that it is used widely for motor fuel. It is also used for aviation fuel. Now, aviation fuel is basically aircraft. Aviation matlab aircraft. Okay, so to fuel your aircraft it is used. It is also used for solvent in dry cleaning. Okay, now coming to kerosene. Kerosene is another petrochemical. Kerosene is used for fuel for stoves. It's used in lamps and jet aircrafts. Okay, another product is diesel. Diesel is used to fuel heavy vehicles. We already know, right? Heavy chemicals like truck. It is used to fuel trucks and electric generator. Now, it is also used as lubricating oil. Now, what do you mean by lubrication? Lubrication is used, it is basically an oil that reduces the friction. It is used in machines, right? As you use the machine, there is a friction generated between the parts of the machine. So you need to make it, you need to grease it or make it smooth for the machine to work smoothly. Yes or no? So we use lubricating oil as lubrication in machines, in industries. And now coming to paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is used in ointments, it is used in candles, Vaseline. Yeah, everyone know what is Vaseline, right? So paraffin wax is used in Vaseline as well. And coming to bitumen, which is another petrochemical, it is used as paints and also for road surfacing. Okay, it is used in road surfacing. Is that clear? If you want, you can note it down. Again, this is a very important question. It is often asked. Okay, so you can note this down. Moving ahead to natural gas. Now, natural gas is formed from dead organisms which are buried under the Earth's surface thousands of years ago, and these organisms get decomposed. And in the absence of air, like in deep layers of Earth's crust, you don't have air, right? It is an anaerobic condition deep down the Earth's surface. So these dead organisms are subjected to decomposition, and as a result of absence of air, they get converted into natural gas. Example is LPG. Now, what are the composition of natural gas? Like what constituents natural gas have? Natural gas is made up of 80% of methane. Now, basically, it is a mixture of alkanes. What do you mean by alkanes? Alkanes are molecules or compounds that are made up of carbon and hydrogen, which are having single bond. Okay, so methane, as you can see here, even the formula I have noted down. So methane is CH4 and it is present in about 80%. Ethane is C2H6. It is present in very less quantities, that is about 7%. Propane is C3H8. It is present in 6% in natural gas. And butane formula would be C4H10. That is, it has 4 carbon and 10 hydrogen atoms in it, and it is present in only 4% in natural gas. So this is basically the composition of natural gas. It has a mixture of alkanes. Now, occurrence and uses of natural gas. Where is this natural gas found? We already know that it is found deep inside the Earth's crust. Yeah, so it is basically found between impervious rocks. Do you know what is an impervious rock? Well, impervious rocks are those rocks that do not allow or do not permit oil and water or gas to pass through them. Okay, they do not allow the flow of gas, oil, or water. Okay, those kind of rocks are called as impervious rocks. So it is basically present between impervious rocks. Sometimes it is also present with petroleum. and sometimes it is present without petroleum. Okay. Now in India, basically natural gases are found in places, in areas like Tripura, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and in the Krishna Godavari Delta. So these are the regions where usually natural gas is found in India. Now coming to the uses of natural gas, now we highly prefer natural gas as fuel. Why? Because it has high calorific value. That is, the calorific value is about 55 kilojoule per gram. Now, what do you mean by calorific value? Calorific value is basically the amount of energy that is produced when you completely burn or when you completely combust 1 kg of the fuel. Okay, so you take 1 kg of the fuel and you completely combust them. That is, you completely burn them. How much energy you get? That is called as a calorific value. Okay, so we always prefer fuels that have high calorific value, right? We need fuels that produces more energy in less amount. Yes or no? So natural gas has high calorific value, which is 55 kilojoule per gram. Now, kilojoule per gram is the unit for calorific value. Okay. Now, it is used as a source of hydrogen and carbon. Like basically, we know that natural gas has majority, that is 80% of natural gas has methane in it. So when you strongly heat methane, you get carbon and hydrogen. Now, as I said earlier, calorific value is the amount of heat that is liberated by completely burning. Okay, not partially, but completely burning a unit mass or volume of fuel. Now, why do we say mass and volume? Now, if it is a solid fuel, we use the term mass. And if it is a liquid fuel, we use the term volume. Is that clear? Now, calorific value is equal to the amount of heat energy liberated when you completely burn the fuel. Is it clear? Now, moving ahead to CNG. Now, CNG, again, it is compressed natural gas. What do you do? How is CNG obtained? You take natural gas and under high pressure, when you compress them, you get CNG, that is compressed natural gas. So there is nothing to memorize in this. You can just see the name. CNG, C for compressed, N for natural, and G for gas. Okay, in the name only it is there, compressed natural gas. That means what? At high pressure, you're compressing natural gas, you get CNG. Clear? Now, CNG is considered to be a very efficient fuel. Why? Because it produces less smoke. Okay, now obviously we need a fuel that produces less smoke, right? Imagine you have a fuel that produces a lot of smoke. What will happen? You are actually polluting the environment. Yes or no? So that is why we always prefer a fuel that has less smoke and that does not produce a lot of harmful gases. Because when we burn something, because of the smoke and harmful gases that are depleted, we are polluting the environment. So obviously we need a fuel that does not produce a lot of smoke, and that is why CNG is considered to be an ideal fuel. Clear? Now moving ahead to the uses of CNG. Now CNG is basically used for power generation. That is, it is used in power stations. Like you have the hydroelectric power stations, thermal power stations, nuclear power stations, right? So these are power stations are basically, places where you produce electricity or you produce power. Yes or no? So CNG is used as a fuel in these power stations. It is also used as a fuel for in transport vehicles. There are CNG vehicles like CNG cars or motor vehicles are present. Now, one of the major advantage of CNG is that it can be used directly for burning in homes and factories. It can be directly supplied through pipes, and you can directly use it. Basically the transport and storage of CNG is very easy. Okay, so that is one great advantage of using CNG. Is that clear? Moving ahead, now let me just give you a small question. Now you observe the picture here and tell me what kind of fuel is used in these vehicles. Carefully observe this picture and tell me what kind of fuel is used, whether it's diesel or whether it's petrol or whether it is CNG, what kind of fuel is used in the vehicles. CNG is used. Okay, CNG, that what is the full form of CNG? Compressed natural gas. So in these, as I said earlier, there are CNG driven motor vehicles, and it is always preferred over petrol and diesel, right? Because it produces less smoke and it is very efficient. So that is why we use CNG. Now coming to LPG, LPG is called, the full form is liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, it is used in filling cylinders for cooking purposes. You must have seen, right? At your home, you use LPG, or usually you use LPG at your homes. Now, its main components are butane and propane. Now, butane and propane are alkanes. Okay, they are made up of carbon and hydrogen. Now, butane has 4 carbon in it, and propane has 3 carbon. It is a 3 carbon molecule. Clear? So mainly LPG has butane and propane. That is, it is a mixture of alkanes. Now it is used for industrial purposes also as a fuel. Moving ahead, you must have heard that petroleum is also often referred to as black gold. Do you know why? Because many useful substances are obtained from petroleum. Yeah, petroleum can be used for manufacturing of detergents, fibers, that is synthetic fibers, okay, polythene, and many other plastics. So since a wide range of uses, petroleum has a wide range of uses, or petroleum gives us a wide range of useful products. That is why petroleum is called as a black gold. Okay, and also black, why? Because it is black in color, right? We saw earlier, we saw a picture of petroleum where it is black in color. Now here, I'm going to give you a very fun activity. I have given you a crossword puzzle wherein you can find out words from this, okay? Find out words that are related to petrochemicals. Okay, so you can pause the video and you can find out words. It's a very fun activity. So I request you all to do it. You can find out words from this that are related to petrochemicals. Yeah, and then later you can check your answers. So these are the words that you would get. Now moving ahead. Now characteristics of an ideal fuel. Now as I said earlier, we don't use anything that burns and gives energy as a fuel. Yes or no? There should be certain characteristics for which we need to use it as a fuel. So an ideal fuel is considered, a fuel is considered to be ideal if it has all these properties. Again, this is a repeatedly asked very important question in your examination. What are the characteristics of ideal fuel? So you can make a note of it. Number one, it should have a high calorific value. Okay. Now, what do you mean by calorific value? It means that it produces any fuel that produces or any fuel that releases heat energy, the amount of heat energy that is released when a fuel of 1 kg is burned completely is called as calorific value. I'll repeat it again. Calorific value is the value or the amount of energy that is released or produced when 1 kg of the fuel is completely burned. Clear? Now, that is the one basic characteristic that we need, right? We don't want any fuel that we need a lot of fuel and very little energy is produced. Will you prefer a fuel that produces very little energy? No, right? You need a fuel that produces a lot of energy with very small amount. When very small amount is burned and very when a lot of energy is released, that kind of fuel is what you would be looking at. So that is the first point. Now moving to the second characteristic of an ideal fuel, which is it should not cause any pollution or it should not release any kind of harmful gases on burning, right? We do not want a fuel wherein it produces a lot of energy, but it is creating environmental pollution. Do we need? No. Again, this environmental pollution is harming us only. Yes or no? It harms us. It harms the other plants and animals, right? So we don't want a fuel that puts life to risk, right? So we want a fuel that does not produce a lot of smoke or does not produce a lot of pollution or does not release us a lot of harmful gases by burning. Clear? Now, coming to the third characteristic of an ideal fuel. Now, it should be low cost and easily available. Now, low cost, obviously, right? We do not want to spend a lot of money in buying a fuel. Always we prefer the cheaper ones, right? So, we need cheap but good quality. Yeah, we need a fuel that is affordable, that is cheap, that is low cost, and it should be easily available in your locality. Yes or no? We don't want a fuel that is not available in your locality. If, a fuel is not considered to be ideal if you cannot get it in your locality. Yeah, so we need a fuel that is low cost and it is easily available. Clear? Now, also we need a fuel that can be easily handled, stored, and transported. Okay, now these LPG and CNGs are very easily transported, especially CNG is very easily, it can be transported by pipes. Okay, and it should be easy to handle as well. Okay, it shouldn't be a very dangerous fuel, right? It should be very easily handled and it should be very easily stored and transported as well. Now, it should have a moderate ignition temperature. That is the fifth most important characteristic of an ideal fuel. That is, it should be having a moderate ignition temperature. That is, ignition temperature should not be high and it should not be low as well. Now, what is ignition temperature? The lowest temperature that is required to burn a fuel. Okay, the lowest. We know that fuel burns when temperature is given, right? When you give heat to a subfuel, that is when it starts burning. Yes or no? So we need a fuel that burns at a moderate temperature. Now imagine you get a fuel that burns at room temperature. Can you handle such a fuel? No, right? It is very dangerous to have a fuel that burns at room temperature. Or imagine a fuel that burns at very low temperature. A fuel that has a very low ignition temperature, it will burn easily. It is very dangerous to handle any fuel that burns very easily. Yes or no? So that is why we don't want a low ignition temperature fuel. Now we don't want a high ignition temperature fuel because we are wasting heat, right? We have to keep on burning it. The temperature needs to be so high so that the fuel starts burning. We don't want that also. Again, we are wasting, right? We are wasting energy then. So we need a fuel, or a fuel is considered to be an ideal fuel when it gets burned or when it has a moderate ignition temperature. Is that clear? Now moving to the next characteristic of an ideal fuel, which is it has to have a moderate rate of combustion. Combustion means what? Burning. Yes or no? And we need a fuel that needs to have a moderate rate. That means it should not burn and like explode. Right? Imagine if it has high rate of combustion. That means it leads to an explosion, right? We should be able to handle the combustion. Right? And imagine a fuel that does not at all burn. It has very low combustion. then again it is a problem because it is releasing very low energy. So we need to have a fuel that moderates, that burns, or it has a moderate rate of combustion. Is that clear? So these are the 6 major characteristics of an ideal fuel. You can make a note of it. Moving ahead to limitations. So we all saw like how natural gases are formed, how petroleum is formed. We learned about their uses. We learned about advantages of them. Now let us move into the limitations. Now obviously everything is like a coin. If there is good, there is bad also, right? So let us now learn the limitation of these natural resources. Now, one major limitation, basically there are a lot of limitations. One is it is exhaustible. That means now basically natural resources are of 2 types. If you have attended the previous live session, you will be knowing that natural resources are of 2 types. One, exhaustible, and one, inexhaustible. Exhaustible means it is in limited quantity. That is, it can get over. If you do not use it carefully or wisely, it will get over fast. Right? Because it takes millions of years for them to form. That is more than the human lifespan. Right? So we need, so that is one basic disadvantage, that it is exhaustible. Okay, that is only limited quantities present in the Earth's crust. Why? Because it takes millions of years for the formation of fossil fuels. Yeah. So that is one major disadvantage. Now coming to inexhaustible. What is in? Can you give me examples of inexhaustible natural resource? Like your solar energy is inexhaustible. Water, air is inexhaustible. Clear? Now moving on to fossil fuels. Fossil fuels. Now coal, petroleum are examples of fossil fuels. Why do we call them fossil fuels? Because they are obtained from fossils. Yes or no? Now, what is a fossil? Fossil is the remains of dead organisms, dead plants and animals that lived millions of years ago. Yeah, so millions of years ago, the animals that on plants, the animals that walked in the earth, when they died, they fell into the ground and they were, deposited with more and more layers on top of it. As a result, they got compressed below the earth's surface. Yeah, and under the earth's surface, you have high pressure and high temperature. As a result, they got converted into fossils. And from there, you obtain fossil fuels, that is coal and petroleum. Now, here, do not get confused. The major difference between coal and petroleum is coal is usually obtained from dead organisms and plants that are obtained in the land. Okay, land animals. And petroleum is sea animals, aquatic animals, and plants. Clear? And they take millions of years to get converted into fuels. So that is a major disadvantage. Okay. So often there is a scarcity of these resources. Like if we are using a lot, at one fine day it will get over. Okay. So that is why there is a scarcity of resources. Also, another major disadvantage of using fossil fuels is when we burn them, carbon dioxide is produced, right? And more of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can lead to global warming. Now, what is global warming? You can get the meaning of global warming from the name itself. Global for globe or earth. Okay, warming is what? Heated up. So our earth is getting heated up. The temperature of the entire earth is increasing. That is called as global warming. Now, how does this happen? It happens because of more of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Right? When the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases, this carbon dioxide will trap infrared rays that are coming from the sunlight. We know that from the sunlight, you have UV rays and infrared and visible light coming. Yes or no? So these infrared rays are being trapped by the carbon dioxide. As a result of that, the earth starts getting heated up because these rays that are coming from the sun are very hot, right? carbon dioxide increases, infrared rays increases, due to which the temperature of the earth increases, and this leads to global warming. Now, so what? So what if the temperature of the earth increases? So what if we have global warming? Is it affecting us in any way? Of course, it is affecting us. How? Because if the earth starts getting heated up, your ice caps that are present in the polar region starts melting. This will result in floods and major floods. We are not talking about a small scale flood. We are talking about a huge, massive flood that can happen. This can entirely disturb the ecological balance. Clear? So, which in turn can affect the aquatic life, terrestrial life, and also human life. The entire ecological balance get disrupted. That is why global warming is a very serious issue, right? Climate change is a very critical and serious issue for us. Now, pollution. As I said earlier, these fuels, when you do not think about anything else and start burning these fuels, the burning fuels will release what? They will release smoke, right? As a result of which global warming can happen. Also, these smoke has harmful gases which can cause respiratory disorders, not only to us, to poor animals as well, right? It can cause respiratory disorders for animals and plants, right? So that is another major disadvantage of burning fossil fuels. Now, since we know that it has a lot of disadvantages, now we should try to save fuel. We should not unnecessarily use fuel. Yes or no? So how do we, save fuel. So there is this organization which is called as Petroleum Conservation Research Association, PCRA. I'll repeat it once again. Petroleum Conservation Research Association, which is PCRA, have come up with few preventive measures by which you can save fuel. If you save fuel or minimize the use of fuel, what happens? In turn, we are saving the environment, right? We are making sure that global warming does not happen. We are making sure that we maintain the ecological balance. We are saving the lives of millions of aquatic and terrestrial animals as well as humans. Yeah, so let us see what are these preventive measures. And I sincerely want you all to understand the seriousness of the issue, and we all need to follow these preventive measures, right? So we need to pledge that from today, from this moment, we will definitely follow all these preventive measures that are given by the Petroleum Conservation Research Association. Clear? So moving ahead, the first preventive measure is we should drive vehicles at a constant or a moderate speed. Why? Because when you drive any vehicle at a constant speed, it takes in lesser fuel, or lesser fuel is used. Okay, so that is why we always need to keep in mind that we need to drive vehicles in a constant and moderate speed. Now, unnecessarily do not keep your engines on. Like whenever there is a traffic lights, whenever there's a red traffic light, you need to switch off your engine, right? Don't unnecessarily waste fuel. Now the next thing is we should ensure regular maintenance of vehicle, right? Regularly you should take your vehicle to service center and get it maintained. Why? Because if you regularly do maintenance of your vehicles, what will happen? Your mileage does not decrease, right? Mileage means what? Taking more of fuel to run the vehicle is called as mileage, right? So we need vehicles that have low mileage. Also, preferably, please do select or opt for vehicles that have low mileage, right? Now, moving to the next point, which is we should ensure that pressure in our vehicles is accurate. Right now, how does this affect the vehicle? It uses more of fuels. Yeah, so pressure in your vehicles. So you need to always see that your tires are in correct pressure so that more of vehicles are not used. Yeah, so these are things that you can personally do, right? You can opt for vehicles that have high mileage. Yes or no? We need to see that vehicles do not. We need to see that you don't opt for vehicles that taking a lot of petrol or diesel to run. We need to opt. We need to see that you switch off the engine whenever you are at traffic lights. Yeah, we need to drive the vehicle at constant speed. Yeah, and also you need to regularly check the pressure in your tires, because if the pressure in your tires are less, this can lead to more of usage of fuels by the vehicle. Clear? Now, a certain other preventive measures would be, yeah, when you are waiting for someone, like rather than traffic lights, if you are waiting for someone in your vehicle, preferably keep your vehicles off. Do not unnecessarily use fuels. Clear? Now, time to test your knowledge. Time to test how much you have gained from today's session. Are we ready? Let's go. So again, students, I request you to send me any questions. If you have any questions, please do send in the comment section. I will definitely take your questions and I will try to answer them and clear your doubts. Okay, so definitely try to send me any doubts. Be free to send me, even if it is a basic problem also, it's fine. Send me your doubts. Please be free to send me your doubts in the comment section. I will definitely clear them. Okay. Yeah, so let's try to answer these questions. First of all, define petrochemicals. What are petrochemicals? Can you answer in the comment section so that I know how much you have gained in today's session? Go ahead and answer. Even if it is wrong, no problem. Give it a chance. It's wrong also, there is no issue. Give it a chance. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a try to answer these questions. What are petrochemicals? Next question is explain the process of formation of natural gas. Okay. Now also write down the full form of LPG, CNG. Okay. And list any two preventive measures to save fuels. You can give any two measures that are sent by the PCRA. Yeah, go ahead and try to answer them, students. Is there any portion that you want me to repeat again? I will definitely explain. Please do tell me in the comment section. Yeah, now let us try to find answers for these questions. The first question is define petrochemicals. Now, petrochemicals are basically all the useful products that you obtain from petroleum, right? Petroleum or crude oil or the black gold, yeah. So all the useful products that you obtain from petroleum is collectively called as petrochemicals. Can you give me examples of petrochemicals? Yeah, petrol, diesel, yeah, lubricating oil, paraffin wax. All these are examples of petrochemicals. Now explain the formation of natural gas. Come on, this is an easy one, right? So how is natural gas formed? Right, when plants and animals, when they die, they fall onto the ground and they are being deposited with more and more layers on top of them of soil and clay. As a result, they are compressed deep into the earth's crust and they get converted to natural gases or fossil fuels. How? Because they are subjected to high pressure, high temperature, and absence of air. Yeah. Now coming to the full form of LPG. Now LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. Make sure that you see the spelling. I'll show you the spelling. Yeah, here it is, liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, and CNG is compressed natural gas. Moving to the next question, which is list any two preventive measures. We discuss a lot of preventive measures that are given by PCRA, right? Petroleum Research Association. So can you come up with any two preventive measures? Those are when it is not necessary, or when we are in an traffic, when we are in traffic, right? Whenever there is a red light, we need to switch off the engine. Okay. And next thing is we need to maintain a constant and moderate speed when you're driving. This will use lesser fuel. Clear? Yeah, so now I'm going to give you certain homeworks. Do think over it and try to answer them. These are questions that are usually asked in exams as well. Okay, so some of the questions that I have listed down is give me the advantages of CNG and LPG fuels. Okay, you can draw a column, you can draw like a flow chart, and you can study the uses of CNG and LPG. Okay, now name petroleum product that is used for surfing of roads. Yeah, try to recollect the petroleum product, which is a petrochemical. We learned under the petrochemical slide, right? So what is a petrochemical that is used for surfacing of roads? Okay, think over it and answer. Then describe how petroleum is formed. Okay, and give any three characteristics of ideal fuel. We discussed a lot of characteristics of ideal fuel. Just give me three characteristics. Okay, and the next question is define the term, or what do you understand by the term calorific value? And I'll give you a small hint. Always we need fuel. We need a fuel that has high calorific value. So what do you understand by the term calorific value? Okay, so do try to answer these questions and test your knowledge. Yeah, so now we'll have a quick revision of what we learned in the previous session and in today's session. Okay, now the previous session was taken a couple of days ago. You can find the video, the live is saved in our channel. So you can find the coal and petroleum part 1 video in the channel. Okay, today we have taken the part 2. Okay, so we are going to do a quick revision of both of them. In the first live sessions, we learned that about natural resources. Okay, we learned that natural resources are of two types, which is exhaustible natural resources, and it is an inexhaustible and another type is an inexhaustible natural resource. So basically, we are creating a mind map here so that it is registered in your mind very nicely. Okay. So now coming to exhaustible natural resources, there are two types. We discussed two types, that is coal and petroleum. Coming on to inexhaustible natural resources, that is, they are present in unlimited quantity in our nature, yeah, which are air, water, and solar energy. Now coming back to exhaustible natural resource, that is coal and petroleum. Under coal, we learned what are the products obtained from coal. We learned that the products are coke, coal tar, coal gas, and ammonium liquor. We discussed their physical properties and their uses. Yes or no? And then we also discussed the type of coals, which are peat, lignite, bituminous, and anthracite. Okay, and we also discussed the uses of coals. That is, it is used in cooking food. It is used for the production of electricity at power stations like hydroelectric power stations, thermal power stations, yeah, nuclear power stations. We also discussed that it is used in steam engines, right? Long years ago, you must have seen, right, in movies and all, to run the railways or to run trains, you put coal into them. Yes or no? So earlier it was used to run steam engines. In today's live session, we learned about petroleum. Yeah, again, we learned the types. We learned that from petroleum, we get a lot of useful products that is collectively called as petrochemicals. We learned the different types of petrochemicals, like we learned bitumen, we learned petrol, we learned diesel. Yeah, we learned lubricating oil. We looked into the uses of these petrochemicals, yes or no? Then we also learned about natural gas. We learned about the formation of natural gas and the uses of natural gas. We learned about uses of LPG, CNG, and we also learned what are the characteristics of an ideal fuel, right? Apart from that, what else did we learn? We also learned about preventive measures, right? Preventive measures of saving fuel. Yes or no? Because since these are exhaustible natural resources, coal and petroleum are exhaustible natural resources. They are not present in unlimited quantity. They are present in very limited quantity in the Earth's surface. So we should very carefully and very wisely use it. Otherwise, a day will come when we will not be having petrol. We will not be having fossil fuels to run our engines and for cooking purpose and all, right? So that is why we need to see to it that we use these petrochemicals or we use these exhaustible natural resources very wisely. Yeah. So with this, we come to an end of today's live session. I hope all of you have gained a lot from this live session. Also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And also click the bell icon to never miss any updates of upcoming live sessions. We have live sessions of almost all the grades and all the important chapters are being taken. So to never miss an update, click the bell icon. Okay. And if you have any doubts, do send in the comment section. If there is any particular topic that you want us to take in live, also you can send it in the comment section. We will definitely go to the comment section and we will definitely consider taking those topics. Okay. So do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And I will see you all in the next live session. Bye-bye. Till then, study well. Bye.